Are you looking for your next webcam upgrade but you're on a budget? I got you. And we're back, DLG fam. Welcome to everyone. Welcome to all the new viewers. Y como siempre, bienvenidos a todos al canal DLG. Gracias por tomar el tiempo en venir a nuestro canal. ¿Les haré el video en español? ¿Qué piensan ustedes? Just kidding, guys. I'll keep it in English, but you can also ask me questions in Spanish. Leave them down in the comments below. So I did mention to you guys, budget and webcams, two words that you hardly ever use in one sentence. So I have something for you guys today by a company named OBSBOT. Yes, you know I've done reviews on their cameras before, and guys, they have pretty good cameras, but this time around, I have something that's really not gonna break the bank. It's under $100. Yes, and what am I talking about? Bam! The OBSBOT Tiny SE 1080p. This one is not a 4K cam. That way they kept the cost below $100. It's $99.99. And yes, that's considered to be under $100. So this webcam right here is a 1080p camera. We're going to go ahead and unbox it. Then after that, like always, put it to the test on the good old PC back there to give you guys a preview of how good or how bad the camera actually works. So let's go to the unboxing, guys, and check it out. All right, guys, there it is, the OBSBOT Tiny SE 1080p webcam. So let's go ahead and take it out of the box and see how does it look. All right, let's see what this looks like. And first of all, let's touch base on what comes in here. Here's the user manual and the warranty policy. The user manual comes in various languages. All right, let's check out the camera. The Tiny SE AI powered full HD PTZ camera. And what does PTZ stand for? Pan, tilt, and zoom. Oh man, look at that. Almost a full 360. Actually, I would say it's it's about a full 360 spin right here. And it has the little two microphones on the front, just like before. The mount for the camera is actually built into itself right there. Look at that, guys. That's pretty neat. I like that because we don't have to deal with an extra part. So this camera does feature AI tracking with auto zoom, a 1 by 2.8 inch CMOS sensor. Let's go ahead and take off this thing right here so you guys could appreciate the actual lens. Look at that beautiful lens right there. Man, quality stuff by OBSBOT. High resolutions up to 1080p, and you're not gonna believe this, guys, up to 100 frames per second. That's right, not your typical 60 frames or 30 frames. This sucker right here will hit you with 100 frames per second. And it also does 720p at 120 frames per second. So you will be able to capture smooth video at 1080p or 720. It also features various tracking modes. This also works with the Elgato Stream Deck, OBSBOT Center, which is the software that is provided by OBSBOT via their website. And it also supports the Tiny Smart Remote too. That's right, guys, you can control it with a remote control. That's actually sold separately. I do not have that to be able to show it to you guys. And it also features gesture control. Remember before in my previous reviews, I've showed you the cameras that actually support gesture control. This one supports it as well. So this camera right here goes for $99. And if you want to get the SE combo that comes with the remote control, it is $159. That's an additional $60 to the original price tag. The AI tracking will follow you as long as you're inside the frame of the camera. Wherever you move, it will follow you. You're able to use this camera sitting upright like so, sideways, or upside down for those amazing overhead shots. This camera does connect via the USB-C connection on the backside. So let's go ahead and see what else comes inside this box. So it comes with a USB-A to USB-C adapter in case you don't have an extra port on the back or the front of your PC or the top side. And the cable that is provided, it is a USB-C to USB-C connection. So that's all that comes inside this box. So let's go ahead and put the camera to the test and see what its capabilities are. All right, guys, so we have the camera installed on my PC. As you guys can see, we're getting the video feed from the camera onto the OBSBOT video preview window, as you guys can see right here. And let's just touch base real quick on the capabilities of the camera itself. And as you guys can see right here, it does capture 1080p 60 frames per second, 1080p 30, 720 60 frames, 720p 30 frames per second. Video mode, you could do landscape or portrait. Remember, I did mention you're able to put the camera sideways or up straight, even upside down. The bit rate, you could do low or high. Recording format, MP4, movie, FLV, or MKV. The device management, you're able to control up to 4 cameras via the OBSBOT app. So let's go ahead and capture some video via the OBSBOT Tiny SE and see how well does it actually look and we are going to capture the audio via the microphone as well. All right, guys, so we're gonna do 1080p at 60 frames per second. We're now capturing the video through the OBSBOT Tiny SE, including the audio. Let me know down in the comments below how good or how bad do you guys think it actually sounds. This camera does support gesture control. That turns off gesture control. That means it will no longer be able to track me. As you guys can see right there, it cannot track me anymore. Let's go ahead and turn it on by raising your hand. The way you know that it's actually tracking, you will see a little blue light on the top left corner of the camera itself, and it follows you where you go to the left. It follows you when you go to the right. And you could also stand up and it'll follow you there. Sit back down, bam, perfect tracking. Now as far as the zoom goes, hold up an L and it does a digital zoom. Hold it up again and it zooms back out. All right, guys, so in order to use the dynamic zoom, you hold up 2 L's and it will begin to blink. The further apart you open your hands, the closer it's going to begin to zoom in, as you guys can see right there. Now, in order to zoom back out, you start to close in your hands slowly until you get to the point where it completely zooms back out. And that's it right there. Digital zoom, single L, there you go. Put it back up again and it'll zoom back out. Bam, there you have it, guys. Let's go ahead and switch the camera over to the 720 60 frames per second to show you guys how does it actually look. All right, guys, so this video is at 720 60 frames per second. So let's go ahead and try to record 720p at 120 frames per second. All right, guys, I'm now recording 720p at 120 frames per second. Let me know down in the comments below how good or how bad do you guys think this setting is. So let's go ahead and raise up the 1080p to 100 frames per second. And you will find that under this setting here, high FPS recording, 1080p 100 frames per second. Click on that. Audio and video recorded at high frame rates are saved separately, with the audio stored as a separate file. So this is pretty neat. This is where you will have to actually sync the audio and the video. That way the mouth is moving at the same rate that you're actually listening to the audio. So let's go ahead and give this a try. All right, we're at 1080p, 100 frames per second, and let's hit record. All right, guys, so I'm now recording 1080p, 100 frames per second, and I just deactivated the gesture control because I can't stop moving my hands. Let's turn that back on. There we go. We have AI tracking on once again. So now let's go ahead and check out the files and see if it does indeed record the video and the audio separately. All right, so as you guys can see right there, these are the 2 files that it actually recorded. If we run the WAV file, you will be able to hear the audio from the video that we just recorded. All right, guys, so I'm now recording 1080p, 100 frames per second. And I just deactivated the gesture control because I can't stop moving my hands. Let's turn that. All right, guys, so that was the audio coming straight from the OBSBOT Tiny SE cam. Let's try to run the video and see how does it look. All right, guys, so the camera does indeed support 1080p, 100 frames per second, or 720p, 120 frames per second. The thing is that you're going to have to set up your software that you're playing it back on, either editing software or VLC player. You will have to speed up the frames per second that it's playing back at, because right now it's playing at 1080p, 30 frames per second. So it seems like it's playing back in slow motion. In reality, it isn't. All right, guys, so for AI human tracking, you're able to set up zone tracking. What that does, it allows you to create a particular area within the frame of the camera where you want it to focus at all times. You could also use standard motion. Motion is when you're standing up and you're moving around, it'll be able to track wherever you move. Normal tracking, upper body, obviously upper body, it detects your body from your chest all the way to the top of your head, as you guys can see right there. And you could also do close-up, headless. Headless is meant for those videos where you don't see the person's head and it focuses mainly below the chin. Lower body obviously is meant to record the lower part of your body. Now, as for AI mode, this is pretty neat. So it does have this feature called hand, and what that does, it detects either your right hand or your left hand, and that's pretty neat. So let me show you. As you guys can see, it's tracking my right hand. So I'll show something to you guys. You know when you're in a meeting and the presenter is trying to point at something and you follow their hand to whatever object or item they're pointing at? So check this out. I could point at my projector up here. It'll follow my hand, do my DLG sign over here, do my PS5 controller, to the monitor, to my mini PC, and to this lower monitor. Back over here, What you would actually use this feature for is if you do play an instrument, as you guys can see right here, and you happen to have AI mode on hand, it follows wherever your right hand goes. As you guys can see, as you strum the guitar, it follows your every movement. And you're also able to select your left hand. So let's go ahead and turn that off. That way it doesn't keep following my right hand. You also have a group option. That's if you have a group of people within the frame of the camera, it'll auto adjust itself to be able to fit everyone within the frame. Now for presets, this is a pretty cool feature, guys. This allows you to manually save 3 different presets of where you want the camera pointing to. So let's move it over to the left a little bit, point it down some, click add. That's one preset. Now let's go ahead and go a little higher, move a little bit more to the right. That's the second preset, and maybe leave it there. Just move it over as far left as we can, or a little bit lower right there. Okay, let's save that as preset 3. So that's preset 3, preset 1, it automatically moves. Preset 2 goes to that one, and then preset 3. Remember, when you do use presets, the AI tracking is automatically turned off. And how do you know that? The blue light will turn into a solid green light. For the gimbal, you guys saw me operating it. You use this right here to move the camera manually. You're able to zoom in as far as 4 and zoom back out. You can also do a wide shot, medium shot, or a narrow shot. You got the reset button down here. As far as image goes, you're able to do HDR, focus, autofocus mode, global or face. Focus mode under global, it focuses on everything within the frame. And if you choose face, obviously it focuses on your face. So for exposure, you're able to turn that off. That makes the image a little bit more darker, and you can manually adjust this to whatever exposure level you like. Let's go ahead and turn it back on. Anti-flicker off, 50 hertz, 60 hertz, white balance, auto. Same thing as auto exposure. This is a manual way to adjust your white balance. Let's leave that on auto. Image, contrast, saturation, sharpness, and hue. This webcam in combination of the OBSBOT Center, it's fully customizable to your liking. Now under more, you got device initial setup, device sleep, auto sleep, sleep time. That's for the camera to go to sleep after you're not using it for, let's say, 2 minutes. You're able to set it up to 10 minutes. The camera will automatically point down, and that way you know that it's in sleep mode and you're not freaking out thinking that it's recording what it's not supposed to. Now for sleep background, you got a basic black background, a custom one by OBSBOT, or you could set up your own custom background. Sleep background flip, gesture control, you guys already know. You put your hand up to turn on auto tracking. You do the L for the digital zoom and double L's for the dynamic zoom. Directional flip, audio, you guys are already listening to the audio coming from the Tiny SE. Let me know what you guys think about the way it sounds. You got noise reduction. This right here will allow to reduce the noises that the camera can actually detect, bring them down to a minimum, so that way your voice is the only thing that's being heard through the mic. Microphone status during sleep. Auto gain, that means that if you're talking too low into the mic, it'll automatically adjust the volume so your viewers can listen to you clearly. Disable the microphone if you don't want to use the internal mic located inside the camera. Radio distance, mirror image, view gimbal in reverse, indicator status. That's the light located on the top left-hand side of the camera. You could either have it on or off. I preferably would like to have it on because I like to see which mode I'm in. AI tracking, normal, or AI mode. Okay guys, under beauty, you have blur. As you guys can see, my actual background is somewhat blurry. If you turn it off, then you can really see what's in my background. But I usually have it on because this is how I set up my meetings for work. I kind of blur out the background just a little bit. And you're able to raise up the blurriness with this level right here. Under retouch, you're able to set up as just like with other cameras, native, classic, or man. It has tone, smooth, clarify, slim. These are the basic settings. If you go on their face, you're able to mess with all these things here. Man, look at all of the customizable areas when it comes down to face. This section for the face, look at how many things you could actually customize. Narrow, V-length, V-shape, hairline, cheekbones, chin, eyes, brighten, distance, corner, dark circles. It takes off the dark circles. Look at that, guys. That's pretty cool. So if you had a long night and you have a meeting the next day, bam, pop that sucker on. Ain't nobody gonna know that you're lacking sleep. Look, let me tell you something, guys. So I think OBSBOT has actually customized the software a lot more. And obviously, as you guys can see right here, look at this, angle, distance, height. You could mess with the eyebrows, the nose, the mouth, body slim, leggy, legs, waist, shoulders, Head. Let's mess around with the head. Make a small head, big head. I know, I have a big head. All right, so let's go to makeup. I'm not messing with this part. You're able to do eyeshadow, eyeliner, eyelashes, contacts. You could also change your eye color, like if you're wearing contacts. Let's go ahead and try out blue. You use this level right here to actually add the color into your eyes, and you'll start to see it filling in my eyes with the color blue. Ta-da! That's crazy, right? Changing your eye color to hawksbill, topaz, crescent, blue, amber, or brown. Man, you're a totally different person with these type of options. You got eyebrows, facial. Yeah, I'm not doing the makeup part, but you're able to do lipstick, blush, and contour. That's pretty cool. So let me know down in the comments below, do you think that the camera is worth the $99 price tag? I feel that it's worth it because you can do 1080p at 100 FPS or 720p at 120 frames per second. I'm not too sure if I could find a valid reason to use 100 Hertz, but hey, it's always nice to be able to have that option available if you ever want to roll that way. There it is, guys, a low light situation. The only light is from the nano leaves and the monitors themselves. Let me know how good or how bad do you guys think it actually looks. For me, it actually looks pretty good. Run it. Also, guys, if you are running 100 frames per second under 1080p or 120 frames per second under 720p, you cannot use any of the filters that the camera does come with. It will automatically remove them. All right, guys, there it is, the OBSBOT Tiny SE. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you guys think it's worth the $99 price tag that it has? I feel that it's doing quite well, considering that you still get all the bells and whistles on the app itself. I think it'll do good at that price tag. You know, 1080p, 60 frames per second, 1080p, 100 frames per second. Not too sure who's going to be using it at 100 FPS. And like I said before, if you do record at 100 FPS or 120 FPS, the playback speed needs to be either doubled or tripled in order for it to be able to play like it normally would, because by default you will be playing at 30 frames per second, and that will appear to be as if it was in slow motion when in reality it isn't. I will leave a link in the description down below for the Tiny SE, but if you do have a few more bucks to spend, I have reviewed other webcams by OBSBOT. I will leave a link in the description down below to the review of those webcams. So if you're a dad, a gaming dad looking for your next webcam so you can stream, talk to your friends, or even join your work meetings, don't forget to check out my latest video. But till next time, guys, I'm Tech. Peace out. Man, guys, believe it or not, I think this cam right here is gonna whoop those $200-300 webcams.